Through the final night of Sade Robinson's life, entering the Twisted Fisherman on April 1st, 2024 for a first date, meeting up with Maxwell Anderson. The two seen drinking and eating at the bar. The jury already knows the very next day, Robinson's severed leg is discovered on the shores of Lake Michigan.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin was shaken to its core in early April 2024 by a crime so horrifying it captured national attention. A young college student vanished one evening, only for her dismembered remains to later be discovered in public spaces. The shocking investigation led to the arrest and conviction of a man prosecutors said murdered her after their first date. The case of Sade Robinson gripped the city and the nation. Sade Carlina Robinson was just 19, a college student and part-time worker. Friends and family remember her as bright, ambitious, and full of potential. She had dreams typical of someone her age, finishing school, building relationships, and growing into adulthood. But all of that came to a tragic and sudden end one early April evening. On April 1st, 2024, Robinson went out on what was meant to be a promising first date. She was seen with 34-year-old Maxwell Stephen Anderson, a man she had recently met. Surveillance footage later confirmed the pair together at a local restaurant, the Twisted Fisherman on Canal Street in Milwaukee, where they spent part of the evening. From there, they were seen moving about the city together, and Robinson was never seen alive again after that night. The next day, April 2, concerns were raised when Robinson failed to show up for her shift at work. When her friend and co-workers could not reach her, they alerted authorities. Robinson's missing person report was filed, launching what would become an extensive homicide investigation. That same afternoon, a passerby in Warnemont Park, near Lake Michigan in the suburb of Cudahy, discovered something horrifying: a severed human leg lying on the ground near a public pathway. The leg's discovery immediately elevated the case from a missing person report to a full homicide investigation. Preliminary DNA testing confirmed that the leg belonged to Robinson. The community was stunned, and investigators mobilized quickly to trace how such a thing could occur. Investigators found additional fragments of Robinson's body in the days that followed. A burned-out vehicle, Robinson's 2020 Honda Civic, was found abandoned and set aflame near 30th Street and Lisbon Avenue in Milwaukee, not far from her home. The car appeared intentionally torched, and investigators believed this was part of an effort to conceal evidence related to her death. Then, over the following week, more remains believed to be Robinson's were discovered, including a torso and an arm washing ashore along Lake Michigan in South Milwaukee and even as far south as Waukegan, Illinois. Each discovery deepened the shock felt by her family, friends, and the broader public, and every new piece of evidence pushed investigators further into unraveling what had happened that night. Focus soon shifted to Maxwell Anderson as the primary suspect. Anderson, a Milwaukee resident with prior run-ins with the law for lower-level offenses, became a person of interest early in the investigation because of his connection to Robinson through the date they shared. Prosecutors alleged that Anderson killed Robinson during or following that first date, then dismembered her body, disposed of her remains across multiple locations, and destroyed her car to hide his crime. On April 4, law enforcement arrested Anderson during a traffic stop in Milwaukee, just blocks from his home. He was held on a $5 million bond and initially pleaded not guilty to all charges.
32 headed to southbound Hampton on, 45 southbound Hampton on for Apollo return for highway versus Chicago.
Any weapons on you, sir?
No.
Head eye, stop.
What's going on?
Good, somebody just radio it.
124 dispatch.
Stow. I'll let you know what's going on. The key still in the ignition?
Yes. 124, yeah, one in custody. Just need the paperwork, then I can go to, the DMV. 32 dispatch.
I'm just gonna unbutton this just to search it, okay?
Yeah.
Bodycam video also showed officers recovering items from his vehicle that investigators believed were significant to the ongoing homicide investigation. Authorities documented the scene carefully, photographing and collecting evidence while Anderson was detained. The footage revealed the methodical nature of the arrest and the tense atmosphere as officers moved from routine questioning to formally taking him into custody.
132 discretion. 132, go ahead. You started told first, Alright, you give me the address and now you give me a plate. I gotta go to a different street. Go ahead with the plate again. Wisconsin, Adam Mary Robert, 8083. And I'm sorry, 68.
The charges against him included first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and arson in connection with the burning of Robinson's car. These charges reflect the severity and complexity of the case, not just a killing, but an alleged pattern of concealment, disrespect for the victim, and intentional acts to obstruct justice.
Taking off in her blue Honda Civic, never to return home again. The very next day, near 30th in Lisbon.
Who did that? Bravo!
Prosecutors say these two women in the area witnessed someone light a car on fire behind a nearby abandoned building. The one wearing blue flailing her arms, trying to get anyone's attention. A different angle shows someone with a large tan backpack walking away from the fire.
As the investigation continued, forensic teams combed through every piece of evidence, from surveillance footage to phone records, digital data, and physical remnants left at crime scenes. Robinson's phone and digital timeline were especially important. Records showed that after the date night, her phone indicated travel to Anderson's residence, and then ultimately went silent. Law enforcement also scrutinized Anderson's actions in the hours and days following her disappearance, placing him near key locations tied to Robinson's disappearance and the disposal of her remains. The community responded to the tragedy with a mix of grief and calls for justice. Clark Park, where Robinson's leg was found, became a site of mourning. Family and friends gathered there and at other locations connected to her life and disappearance, leaving flowers, photos, and tokens of remembrance.
So it wasn't too much of a stretch to think that someone was trying to dump this car here.
It looks like somebody had started it. Nothing else was smoking outside the car, so it started in the inside.
The car was...
The shock of a young life cut so brutally short struck a chord far beyond just those who knew her. In May 2025, Anderson's trial began in the Milwaukee County Courthouse before Judge Laura Crivello. The prosecution painted a detailed and disturbing picture of what they believed happened on April 12, 2024, a seemingly normal first date that ended in inexplicable violence. Prosecutors laid out evidence suggesting that Anderson not only killed Robinson but dismembered her body and tried to hide both her remains and crucial evidence.
I would like to start by saying that from the bottom of my heart, my deepest and most sincere condolences go out to Sade's family, as well as everyone else affected by this tragedy. That being said, Your Honor, I took this to trial without ever once trying to make a plea deal of any kind, because I did not commit these crimes. And so I plan to appeal my convictions, while I hope and pray that further investigations not only prove my innocence, but find and deliver true justice.
Anything else you wish to say?
No, ma'am.
So, relative to sentencing, I have a job, and what my job is to do is to hold you.
During the trial, prosecution witnesses recounted the timeline of discovery, from Robinson's disappearance to the discovery of her severed leg, the burned car, and subsequent findings of other body parts. Graphic testimony and exhibits were presented to the court, placing Anderson's actions in the context of meticulous disposal and attempted concealment. Anderson's defense, led by attorney Anthony Cotton, argued that there was no direct DNA linking Anderson to the most gruesome elements of the crime. The jury, composed of 9 women and 3 men, deliberated for less than an hour before reaching a unanimous guilty verdict on June 6, 2025. Anderson was found guilty on all counts: first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, arson, and hiding a corpse. The swift verdict underscored the jury's confidence in the prosecution's case and the overwhelming evidence pointing to Anderson's guilt. In sentencing proceedings later that summer, on August 1, 2025, Judge Crivello sentenced Anderson to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In remembering Sade Robinson, it's important to focus on her life, not just the tragedy of her death. She was a young woman with dreams, loved ones, and a future ahead of her. Her family's strength and the community's support reflect a shared commitment to justice and remembrance. Even after Anderson's conviction, her case remains a painful reminder of a life cut short and the ongoing need to support victims' families and prevent future violence.